With that, we can save our Portal 2D scene in Source, Objects, next to our coin. Click Save. We are going to set the collisions as well on the Portal 2D. It's something quite important to set up every time you create an Area 2D node. So select Portal 2D, expand the collision category. It's not going to be on any layer, and it's not going to be monitorable. This makes it so we don't risk having, for example, the player jump because it hit another Area 2D. Because remember, the condition for it to stomp an enemy and have that jump is just to touch another area. By making the Portal 2D non-monitorable, nothing else will detect it, and we won't get any bugs like these. However, for the mask, we want to keep the player, and we want this area to be monitoring. That is to say, we want it to detect the other nodes in the game, so that when the player touches it, we will be able to move to the next level. Okay, so we're now going to code our Portal 2D so that when we touch it, or the player touches it, they can teleport to the next level. Select the Portal 2D node and click the Add Script icon. I'm going to create a portal2d.gd script next to the scene. We want to make it so our player can teleport to another scene. So we need some way to reference, to set that next scene for each portal. We're going to create an exported variable to do so called next scene, and the type is going to be packed scene. Packed scene is the type of the .tscn files that are our levels, our coins, whatever. Once you save and select the Portal 2D, you can see a next scene slot here, and you can drag and drop any tscn file on it, for example, a level, a new level to load. You will see the thumbnail for the level in your inspector. I'm going to clear that one and go back to the script editor to make it so, well, we must set the scene for that Portal 2D to work. Otherwise, we might crash the game or we might get an error. We have a feature to do the same thing we have when we create a node in Godot that needs some configuration. We get that warning sign here. It's called get configuration warning, and we just have to, in the GDScript file, create that method. So I'm going to go function get configuration warning. This starts with an underscore, and from that function we return a string if we want to display a warning. Let me show you how we are going to do that. So I'm going to return an error message, for example, the next scene property can't be empty. And we're going to return that only if there is not next scene, else we'll return an empty string. And if the string is empty, the warning sign will not show in the editor. So you can save, and when you go back to the editor, you get that warning sign. Right now it's not working properly though, because in order for this code to run in the editor, because right there we need that warning to display in the editor, we have to add a keyword at the top of the script called tool. Tool will make it all the code that you write here will run in the viewport in the editor. So you want to be careful with that as well, so that you don't write code that moves the node or things like these that animates it from that GDScript file. Otherwise it will start moving in the editor. Anyway, so now with our get configuration warning, we should get a warning pop-up when we click the warning that gives us our message, next scene property can't be empty, until we add the next scene. So if I fill it, so I have to close and reopen the scene in this case, and you will see that now we have a next scene set, the warning disappeared. And if I reset the property next time you load the scene or something like that, it will show again. Now, this is a little bug with Godot 3.1. In Godot 3.2, yeah, you see, as soon as I open the script or change the view, the warning updated. Now we are going to add the teleportation code. So we're going to create a function to teleport our character, and I will expand the view a little bit. So we're going to create a function called teleport. It doesn't return anything, it's only going to play the fade out animation on the animation player. So we have to get this animation player node to use it in our script. I'm going to add an onReady variable again at the top of the script, call it anim player. It's the same we did for the coin, really. It's going to be of type animation player, and I'm going to get the animation player node. Note that there is a shorthand for the getNode function in Godot. It's the $sign that you can use instead. And if you start typing the name of the node, as you will see, it auto-completes as well. So you can write either the getNode function or use the $sign. Now we can use our animPlayer variable that stores a reference to our animation player node from the scene to play the animation. When we teleport, we want to play our fade in animation, or we could call it fade to black or something like that. That would probably be a bit more precise. Then we want to wait for the animation to finish, and then we will ask Godot to change the scene, to change to the new level. To wait for the animation to finish, we can use a keyword called yield in GDScript. So yield is going to wait for some node to emit a signal, in our case, before it continues with the function. So let me write the end of the code and I'll explain what's happening in greater details. We're going to yield on the animation player. So the first parameter is going to be the node we wait for, and the second parameter is going to be a signal. Okay, and if you select the animation player and go to the node tab, you will see that it has an animation finished signal. We wait for the animation that's currently playing to finish, that's fade in, and after that we are going to ask Godot to change scene. For that we need to get the scene tree. The scene tree is an object that stores the entire tree of your game if you want. So you have to use a built-in function called getTree to get it. And this tree has a method called changeScene2. And as you can see, it takes a packed scene as an argument. So we can give it our next scene, and it will change the current scene playing in our game to that next scene. All right, the yield keyword, you can use it with a function or a node, and it will wait for that node or function to emit some kind of signal, to send back some kind of message, and it will pause the function on this line until, in this case, the animation player has finished the animation.